Hey, folks, welcome back to the podcast. First off, I just want to apologize. I usually try to get these up early in the morning or around midnight the day before, so super early. So I feel like I'm kind of a bit behind schedule with this episode, although technically it is still the 25th. I just ended up getting really swamped this week, and I didn't really have time to edit and upload this as quick as I kind of feel like I should have, so sorry for that. But anyhow, today's guest is Kyle Cavanagh. Kyle is a professional musician from Kamloops, BC. I first met Kyle when we were traveling through Kamloops on the Rise Up tour. We stayed in touch via social media, and on his way back from his New Yorker bus tour, managed to catch him and his traveling companion Eric to get the whole story of what exactly happened on the road. So what you're about to hear is the conversation that took place just after midnight on September 6th. That was right before our gig in Millet. These guys were really road-worn and understandably exhausted given the time of the recording and really everything they'd been through in general. So please excuse the extra colorful language displayed. Well, I will never tell anyone on my podcast they can't say or talk about anything they want because I want them to feel free to really be themselves. I'm also certainly aware that some language can be offensive to a lot of people, and I just want this podcast to be accessible to as many people as possible. So for that reason, I try to censor some of the more abrasive curse words, for example. If I missed a few in the process, I apologize. As I said, at the moment, I kind of have really limited time to edit these podcasts. So all that being said, there's a lot of really crazy stuff you're about to hear. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, and some of it's funny, and some of it's educational. So please welcome Kyle Cavanagh. The weight of all your dying. All right, Mr. Kyle Cavanagh, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. We are right now recording. It's about 12 a.m. local time. Do you feel jet lagged at all? Like not real jet lag, but do you feel kind of like time displaced?
Oh, constantly.
Constantly?
Constantly.
Like specifically, like when was the last time that you felt you were on your own time?
When I left.
When you which was when? How long ago?
July 31st.
July 31st. So you've been on the road for literally a month or not? No, because it's September. Literally a month.
Oh, over a month.
Over a month.
Over a month now. It's what is
a month and a week or something because it's the 6th today, right?
The 7th? It's the 7th now,
right.
Officially. So I've officially hit my 5-week mark.
Wow.
Not yet. We started on BC time.
Yeah.
They don't tell real time there.
We got another hour to go yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then it'll be the 5-week mark, and yeah, it's been an interesting.
Have you been doing has it been like back-to-back shows, or have you been?
No, it's been spaced out. There were 2 legs of the tour. One was the U.S. tour. I got a visa, got all the channels organized and what have you, and that leg just went horrifically wrong. Just I had one good show.
Okay.
There.
So when you
Seattle.
say hold on. So when you say horrifically wrong, horrifically terribly bad, are you referring to just turnout, or what?
I didn't even make 4 of the 5 shows.
Ooh.
In
okay,
the
now
US side.
I've seen some things. You and me are friends on Facebook, and I mean, okay. Side note, not to get too distracted here from what we're getting at, but I really appreciate your Facebook posts. They're hysterical. I think I have one other friend on Facebook who shares similar and about the right volume of content of what you do, and it's hilarious. You have the best memes. So cheers.
Well, thank you very much. I mostly get those from Cass Evoy, who is the booking manager down at the Blind Beggar.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, she's
in Calgary.
Oh yeah, she's fucking hilarious.
I know her. That's funny.
You know her? Oh man,
I don't see her memes,
dude,
but I know
such
her.
Such a babe. Man, would take her out to dinner so fast. But anyways.
Okay. I'll email her this podcast.
Well, why not? Let's see what happens. But anyways,
so all this to say that because we're friends on Facebook, I've seen a degree of stuff, but obviously I don't quite know the whole story. So maybe the way to tell this is let's back it up. Let's explain what exactly the tour is that you were doing, the scope of it, and how many days and what your plans were and everything? Like give me this. If you're booking your tour right now through me, 2 months ago or whatever.
Okay.
Sell it to me like you were explaining it to people.
Okay. Well, it was supposed to be what was it? 8 or 9 show tour.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of busking and stuff like that, because I like getting out there and playing for.
So really grassroots kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually really enjoy busking as like a means of travel.
Mm-hmm.
I left Canada with $130 US,
Mm-hmm.
which was not what I intended to have.
That's crazy.
Like
I couldn't do that, man. I have to have me when I'm touring. I need to have money in the bank, or I'm like the anxiety's too much for me.
I was supposed to. See, here's the thing. So I just came from the Beggar. I played open mic yesterday.
Yeah.
Down there. I was about a month or 2 months late for a gig that started my bad luck leading into this tour. I have a 95 Chevy Silverado 1500 heavy half.
Okay.
Truck, and I had a gig at the Beggar up in Calgary. Because it's up for me. Inland. I don't know. However you want to describe it. And
left of where we came from.
I was actually, I think it's right of where we came from. So the left is the ocean. But yeah, I'm heading out to this gig, and the truck's running great, the Chevy's running great, and I'm cruising along.
So this is the first show?
No, this is 3 weeks before the tour even began.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Wait, so put a pin in this. Why are we playing this is like a pre-tour show?
This is
standalone, or like what's the?
Yeah, it's a standalone. I play music full time. That's my.
No. Fair enough. Right? Yeah, I'm like, wait, are we on the tour? Are we not?
Yeah,
on
no.
Trying to connect
This
dots?
is 3 weeks before the tour. I have the tour set up. I got the visa paid for. The truck and the trailer are ready to rock and roll.
Mm-hmm. Almost like a test run then.
This was going to be the trip before the test run.
Okay.
This was just like, okay, can the truck do a long trip? Because I have some pretty shitty luck with vehicles.
Fair enough.
Anyone who actually pays attention knows that I have had some truly outstanding, it's a thing of nightmares.
Right.
So I'm driving along, and I get to about Banff, and all of a sudden my truck overheats. And I'm like, what the fuck? So here I am. So I'm like, okay, I'll limp it to Canmore. I know that there is a parts store there. I should be able to get there. I'll be fine. I get there. Now, I didn't realize the Canmore is kind of tucked away in the
you kind of have to get off the highway.
You get off the highway, drive in a little bit, and then it pops up. Which I didn't realize. So I was like looking for town as I'm driving past, and I ended up driving past Canmore.
Oh, okay.
And then the head gasket went.
Uh-oh.
The head gasket, the radiator, the thermostat. And thus began a 9-day trial where I was stranded on the side of the road, 4 of which I slept in my truck, working like 14 hours a day.
Okay. Right, so this is the sequence of events to this point where I'm fairly familiar with. Like, I saw a bit of what was going on your Facebook feed, you posting updates and stuff. So this is kind of where I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I can't imagine being in that situation where I'm stranded and I'm going back and forth and stuff. Like straight up, if I were you in that circumstance, I'm not 100% sure what I would do, but probably it would start with, okay, borrow some money, sell the truck for scrap, get a ticket home or something like that. But you didn't do that.
No. I had never... Well, I've done one head gasket with the help of a buddy of mine who's a mechanic at his garage.
With the proper tools. In the proper environment.
Yeah, in the proper environment. Like
with time.
Like with all of the things that were supposed... Like, that you need. Right? Like, this... I did not have this. In fact, I had the money to make it to the gig. The gig was going to pay me enough to get home.
Yep.
And then...
Familiar with that.
And...
run of events, yeah.
Like, this was one I just really, really enjoy playing at the Beggar.
Right.
Right? So, that was kind of my thing. I was like, this is going to be a nice way to get away, go to a place that I enjoy. I'll hang out with some friends in Calgary. It'll be a good time. It was not a good time. It was a 9-day stint of... Like, I had some friends were like, well, what do you need? I'm like, I need tools. Right? Like, I need this truck to go on the freaking tour. There's like, in order for me to go to New York, I needed a vehicle. And I wasn't doing another tour where it was like me in the back. Like last year, I went across the country in a Mazda 6 hatchback and slept in the back with the seat folded down. And the first couple weeks, you're like, yeah, I'm on tour. This is, I'm traveling across the country. This is great. And then about a week and a half in, you're like, oh, I'm too fucking old for this shit.
Sleeping on the floor. Your
back back gets sore. I'm cramped in with all my gear and the food I have and yada yada. It was a trying experience the first round, and so this time I was like, okay, I'm getting a camper because like I'm just not doing that again. So yeah, I'm thinking I need this truck. I need it. It has to be. It has to work because I got like a month and a half of work lined up on this, and had everything panned out, I probably would have come back with a couple grand because like the first up until Minnesota, I was making bank.
Good shows, good crowd.
It was a good show, a good crowd. I was making like $25 an hour busking in the rest stops on the side of the highway. Just. I had a little bit of money in the bank. Like, money was, like, actually coming in. Where
sometimes you get a lucky streak like that, and you do well. That happens.
You know what? Busking has never really been a luck thing for me.
No, that's true.
It's always been consistently between 25.
Right, and to be fair, like, I don't do a ton of busking. My primarily is going to be door sales and tickets and stuff for me.
Yeah.
So... For you to do well, like when you say, oh yeah, like I'm thinking in my head, like, oh yeah, sometimes you hit the right club, sometimes you hit the right nights, people are out. Sometimes you get people that are really like what you're doing and they load up on merch, they want to, or they give you extra, like that happens. You get those really good nights, and sometimes you get a string of those really good nights, and that makes for a good trip.
So my theory was going into this is like with the busking,
could do pretty well.
Yeah, like. Yeah. With the busking, yeah, sure. I only have 8 or 9 gigs over the course of 5 weeks. But if I
sorry, not to interrupt you. Was your goal then was it to like kind of see how much you could do with little? Was that the idea? Like just to really live off of what you're doing specifically? Yeah. Like you wanted to have less shows, more busking dates, more like that kind of stuff.
I meant to have more dates, but
they're just tough to line up.
It's been tough to line up, and
I had a similar thing personally. Not to get too far away, but in April I did a 10-day tour just across. Like it was called the Up Close and Personal Tour, and it was a very small, like really tiny rooms, 20 people kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so we did 10 dates around Alberta, and then 1 date in Saskatchewan. He came home.
Yeah.
And it was a good set of shows, and I had some sort of, I'll tell you the story after we get closer with what you're doing, but sort of some similar car trouble, interesting things that happened to me too. So it's just interesting, not to the degree that happened to you, but that's more before the tour that kind of had this big bubbling amount of stress and how do I deal with this, and I need this to work, and so it's just fascinating. But what really what fascinates me about you is not that you had these problems, because I'm sure they happen to people somewhat frequently, although with you it seems to be with greater frequency. But what fascinates me about you is the fact that you're like, I'm going to fix this on the side of the road. Like, I was like, what? Like, how did... Yeah. So,
well, I mean, like, again, what are my options? Like, set fire to the vehicle, commit insurance fraud, sell the thing for scraps, be out of a vehicle. And, like, right now, my only skills are building stuff and like music. Like those are my only marketable skills that I'll make any kind of money at. So it's like and both of those require running vehicle in order to be in high demand, right? So for me it was like, well, if I don't fix this, well then
sink or swim, right?
Like it's sink or swim, trial by fire. It's like if I don't fix this, then everything falls apart. Right? Like we're not even just talking like the music. It's like I can't work construction without it. I can't, cause
even if you get back home, now you're still starting from square one.
Exactly, right? So it's like, fine. The parts are cheap. The tools were on sale. They were cheap. You know, and it was the only thing that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And have everything line up and still pan out, which it didn't, because that vehicle ended up dying in Clearwater.
Okay, so hold on. So back up a little bit. So we started. So this is not even day one of the tour. This is before the tour.
3 weeks before.
3 weeks before the tour.
July 9th.
July 9th. And you end up here broke down a little past Canmore.
Yeah. There's a sign that says 106 to Calgary.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate that sign. I walked past that walking into Canmore, which took about an hour, and then walking back was shit, and the cabbies gave me lifts and stuff, but...
You were a real popular figure of theirs, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Like... I went in. I made it to a gas station. Got the truck running after tearing this thing apart and putting it back together. Not properly torqued or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I made it as far as this gas station at a place called Dead Man's Flat, which was hilarious.
Right.
Which was just hilarious to me. Yeah. Right. What a name to break down. Yeah. Right. And be stranded and stuck. And
I had one like that. We were traveling with my family when I was younger. I remember, and we broke. It was so funny to me. Like we broke down literally next to a graveyard. Yeah. And I was like, who breaks down next to a graveyard? Yeah. Like, this is ominous, it's this ominous thing. And anyway, okay, so give us a quick sequence of events. So you break down there, and so what happens next? How many days are you here for?
Like 9.
9 days.
8 or 9.
And so it's this constant period of you... Okay, I need this tool. Go get the tool. Bring it back. Okay, now I need this, and like you're just kind of playing hopscotch here.
Yeah, just going back and forth, back and forth. I ended up needing a new radiator because the radiator was cracked. I needed a new.
So, again, and also just curious, what was the initial? What was the problem? Like I know that you blew the head gasket and stuff, but was that because it overheated because the radiator was shot, or what exactly?
I didn't realize there was a crack in the radiator.
Okay,
and that just. I ran out of fluid and cooked everything.
Right. So you noticed it overheat.
Yeah.
And then you continued to drive it? Was that...
Well, I was stuck in the mountains, right?
That was the thing that caused the damage?
Yeah, it was like I'm trying to get to a place that I can, like... Like, swapping out a radiator takes, like, 20 minutes.
I've done that job.
It's not a hard job.
No.
Right? So I was like, okay, well... Something's going on here. Like, I'll get to a town, diagnose it, should be able to fix it. Mm-hmm. No problem. It was a little
and you just didn't have enough distance for what was left
yeah.
Like life left in the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Which pretty much went down. So I was stranded for 9 days, 4 of which... It was like 4 or 5 of which I spent sleeping in my truck. I was working, like, pretty much from, like, when the sun... like, right... where it's light, but the sun hasn't yet come up over the land.
Yeah.
Where the
dusk,
mountains.
like pre-sunrise.
Yeah. Okay. So it was basically like I'd wake up to that, and then I would go to sleep about 2 hours after it got dark because I'd be on my phone, like doing more research, like how do I fix this fucking thing, and and then I was just like kept getting help in the most strange ways. Too, like I hadn't eaten, and then a sandwich and coffee just showed up on the hood of my truck and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really freaking cool.
Did you find out who was doing? Like it was just some kind stranger kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy's been here for 2 days, 3 days.
Oh yeah, like when I got to Dead Man's Flat, there was a bunch of people like, "You're the guy." Not even joking.
You were the talk of the town.
Oh, I was. I bet you people are still talking about me. Maybe not in the best light because
that's a great marketing opportunity as a musician, but
well, yeah, and it was just like this. People were just walking by, like, "You're the guy." I'm like, "The guy." I'm like, "You're the guy who's been tearing apart his engine on the side of the highway."
The guy.
Yeah, like the guy, which was fucking hilarious to me. 'Cause, like, these random people are just like.
They've been taking bets on you this whole time.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
Like, I give him 6 days. I give him 3 days. I'll take the over if he finishes. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's hilarious.
And then
local source of entertainment.
And then like I kept trying to get this thing running, and I got it running enough to get it to Dead Man's Flat, and then with the help of this guy, he just popped by and it's like, "I can help you a little bit," and I was like, "All right, well I'll take it." And we got it running, and it died again over at Dead Man's Flat, and then I was like, you know what? Screw this.
So what day was that? Was after day 9? Or that was day
9?
No,
this is probably day 4.
Okay, so you actually, you take it apart, put it back together with the new head gasket and everything, new parts, and then get it running.
Yeah.
And then it dies again.
Yeah, it dies again like 15K up the road. Like Did not make it. Literally got to like some sort of semblance of what civilization might be at some point in the future. You know, it's like small town outside of a small town.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is where I stayed for the truck stayed for the remaining time, and and then I go to pick and pull because I'm like, screw this, like it's still pulling like coolant into the oil. I'm still getting oil in there, which is
there's some other seal that's
so I'm like, it's still breaking. Screw this, I'm getting a new motor. Going to pick and pull, I'll rip one of those out, figure out how to drop it in mine if I have to take it apart piece by piece and put it back in, kind of deal.
Wow.
Because at this point it was just like, I will not be defeated.
Yeah, you'd invested too much at this point.
Yeah. Which is where I met this guy named Ross Gibson. Which awesome name. But I keep telling people that I found God on this trip because it kind of did, man. I was like in the middle of nowhere and exactly the help that I needed showed up exactly when I needed to take me to that next step.
I'll buy into that.
Well, I'm at pick and pull and I'm racing the clock because they close at a certain time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get this engine out. Mm-hmm. And I just look up the sky. I'm like, can I have a little help, please?
Yeah.
Well, this Ross rolls up. He's like, hey, you got this torque T something. I can't remember the exact socket that he's looking for. I'm like, yeah, in the toolbox. Just dump it out. You'll find it. Mm-hmm. All right. And he takes it and goes back and comes back. He's like, well, you were really helpful to me. Can I help you with anything? I'm like, I'm trying to get this motor out because I've been stranded for I think this was like day 6. At this point. It was like day 6 or 7. Something like that. It's later into... By this point, like, I'm pretty ragged. My buddy Chris down in Calgary, whom we were just parked out in front of his driveway, he let me crash and use his car to go back and forth, which really changed the game. Like, was a game changer in the whole process. Because... But yeah, Ross is like, well, what's going on? And I kind of explained to him my situation. He's like, well, why don't I come and check that out? Next 2 days, he spent, it would have been day 7 then, because, it was 2 days. He just kept coming out, and we rebuilt the engine, and, that was just, like, the warm-up for the tour. And then,
So you didn't even end up getting to Calgary for that show then?
No.
Because you clearly missed it by a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By like 9. I ended up missing a couple more gigs in Penticton, which was going to be my rent for August. And what else? It was like going into July, I was paid July a month in advance. I was like caught up on all my bills. Like the truck was paid off, everything was squared up. Whereas when I left, I was supposed to have $500 US. It was going to be gravy. Like that's the gas across. Any money I make on top of that, I'm laughing. But the truck ended up breaking.
Right.
So I finally get the truck running again. And
the second time now.
Yeah, the second time.
New motor.
Yeah. And Ross and I bring it down to Canmore because then at least I'm near a parts store. Right? Because
you're probably closer to Canmore than Calgary at this point.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Like,
it's only 15K up from... What my original plan was when I got it running was to get it up to Dead Man's Flat, turn around, and come back to Canmore.
And you just didn't get to the point.
No, I made it about halfway and then died. So then we get it back there and I bump into the freaking... the Meridian thing at the head of parking stalls.
Oh, okay.
A little concrete block.
Yeah.
And the truck stalls. And then won't start again.
Really?
I'm like, wow, what the
Interesting.
Yeah. No, dies again. No, it must have been... Because, it was probably day 6 that I met Ross. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, well... And I'm hearing click, 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 click from the starter. And like, fine. So I go back the next day and I get the battery tested and I buy a starter and I replace the starter and it's still clicking and turns out I didn't attach the ground wire.
Oh, so the starter's just not getting enough juice.
No, it's not. It's not getting the juice that it needs to actually turn the motor over. I'm like, fine, get that going, get it running. I'm like, okay, sweet. Head to Calgary because I'm like, I'll stay there tonight, turn around, head out in the morning, head home, make it home, and then the truck's running a little rough the next morning.
So you get all the way back to Kamloops?
No, I make it to Calgary.
Oh, okay.
Right, because
okay.
I went back to Calgary, stayed with my buddy Chris.
Okay, so you get the truck running in Canmore,
yeah.
Get back to Calgary, and then the next morning it's running rough.
It's running a little rough,
okay.
but like it's running, it's starting, it's maintaining. And I'm driving, and I'm just leaving Calgary, heading out on the Highway 1, and all of a sudden, power, like electronic units start cutting out. First, it's my radio just shuts off.
Okay.
And then I stop having blinkers, and then it's like I'm backfiring a lot.
Okay.
Right? Like it's not getting enough power, and like getting going is like the sluggish, like you know when you're like really hungover.
Sure.
And you're like really just not able, and then you have to go do some hard work, and you're just like dragging your feet.
Okay.
That was the truck.
Okay.
It was like it was experiencing the worst hangover of its 30s.
Okay.
You know, and
it partied like it was 23.
Yeah, partied like it was 23, and then immediately discovered that it's not 23 anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, it freaking, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just make it to Canmore. I'm like, if I make it to Canmore, I'm good. Well, just as I'm passing the last exit of Calgary, like where you can go back into Calgary, it's that last turn off. I think it's off of Sarcee or something like that. The power just stops. Like I see it go by, and then I lose power, and I'm literally just coasting down the road.
So the truck shuts off.
Oh, it shut off. Like I don't have power steering, don't have power brakes. I'm going like 100 down the highway, and like not really a decent place to pull over. I managed to find one, which was good, and I'm like, well, fuck. So now I'm just like at this point I'm emotionally just like friggin' wound, right? Like I'm twitchy at this point. And I call
right up.
just amped right up, and just like stressed, so very 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 stressed, you know. And I call up my grandmother, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. The alternator just died. I've burned through all them, because like I was saying earlier, a couple of my buddies, one of my friends out in New York who I was hoping to see on this tour, but didn't make it to New York, did a fundraiser so that I could get tools and parts and stuff. I'm like, well, I've gone through all the money that was donated, and I'm not like I'm just out of resources. Like, and as I'm telling her this, I'm telling my grandmother this, I'm laughing, right? But I'm laughing like almost hysterically at the. Actually, no, I'm laughing hysterically
it's
at this.
It's a crazy laugh.
Yeah, like I'm just like I rebuilt the fucking engine, and then it's not working anymore. It just turned off. And she's just like, Kyle, are you having a mental break right now? Because I've never heard you sound like this ever, and I've heard you go through some rough shit. And I'm like, honestly, at this point, yeah, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, all right, so here's what you're gonna do. We're gonna put some money in your account. You're gonna go get that alternator, and then you're gonna go home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and I imagine you haven't really gotten a good sleep either, right?
Oh,
no.
no.
You're sleeping in your truck.
It was sleeping in my truck, and then I was sleeping at a buddy's place, but I'm just like so fucking, like, I'm stranded. And, like, I'm not in Calgary because I want to be. I'm in Calgary because it's like do or die kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're obviously not enjoying yourself.
No.
Yeah.
No. It was fun the first day or two. After that,
yeah.
No.
Okay.
So I tear the fucking alternator out of the truck, and I start walking, and it just starts pissing rain. We're talking like torrential downpour.
Oh no.
Like, we're talking like Hollywood spends good budget making scenes like this. And because I'm just walking down the street. And I must have looked insane, too, because I'm just walking down the street holding an alternator in my hand, yelling out, just like, fine! Fine! You want me to walk back into town? You want me to get a new fucking altar? Fine! I'll do it! Hair's wild. Freaking eyes are just crazy. Then my buddy Corey calls me up. He's like, where are you? I'm like, here. He's like, okay, I'm coming to get you. You need a part? We'll go get it. He's like, meet me at your truck. I'd already been walking for about 45 minutes at this point, so I turned around and walked away all the way back. He arrived not long after I did.
Wow.
So we go get the part. I install it. And, like, the last little bit of on that little stint there was as I get the alternator in, I get everything, but I forget to put the fan shield over top.
Okay.
And it grabbed my, like, main battery line and just wrapped it.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought it tore the computer right out. Luckily, it just, like, snapped the plastic part and then everything just stopped. And the engine stalled and I had to unwrap that and put it all back together and put the heat shield or the fan shield on and get the cable put all back where it's supposed to be and yeah, finally get to go home and I make it home and I have a gig in Clearwater. And this gig was supposed to be like I go play the gig and then it's just a big party. Like I was gonna go and like sleep in my fifth wheel. It was gonna be what's the term? It was the first run with the fifth wheel attached and everything like that. And yeah, the freaking, what was I gonna say? The engine dies a block and a half away from my gig. And it wasn't even a paid gig. It was literally just like, I'm gonna go relax. Like, I'm going on a like month and a half long trip. I'm just gonna go do something just for the fun. So it's not work. It's just I'm gonna play a gig that is just for the fun of it, kind of thing. Which it was. It ended up being like an absolutely spectacular time. And then all of Clearwater came out to like help me fix my truck. Which we didn't get her done. We figured out that like the block's cracked and there's no fixing that particular engine. And then so I ended up.
So that was the engine you got from Pick and Pull, hey?
No, I never ended up using that engine. We ended up. We ran out of time, and Ross was like, "Well, let me take a look at it," and we like rebuilt
that engine.
The engine that I had.
That ended up being the easier way to go, eh?
Yeah. Well, I was like, "How are we going to drop this engine into the engine compartment?" It was just a bloody nightmare. So yeah, I break down. Clearwater shows up, and I say Clearwater because like. You know how you break down in like Calgary, and everybody's like, "Fuck that guy." Same with Edmonton, right? Like you can break down on the side of
in the ditch before we got here.
Yeah, it's like somebody's broken down in the side of the road, and everybody
drives. Either.
Everybody drives past like, "Fuck this guy! He's slowing down traffic. What an inconsiderate prick!" You know, and it's like you could be dead being eaten by a bear, and they're like, "This fucking asshole." Slowing down traffic. Like, take your death elsewhere, sir. You know, and like Clearwater is like every 5 to 20 minutes, somebody was driving by and they're like, "Are you okay? Yeah. Do you need a ride somewhere? Right. Do you need tools or something? Do we need to call somebody?"
Yeah, like small town hospitality.
Yeah, whereas,
okay. All right.
You know... Yeah. That was great. I actually made quite a few good friends out there while we were out. And yeah, like it started off with one guy, Lewis, he's currently hanging on to my truck because it never got out of Clearwater.
Right.
And it just died and stayed there. And then he shows up and we're looking and he calls his buddy because we're trying to figure out this engine. And his buddy shows up and so their wives and their kids are running around as we're trying to figure out this engine. And then my friend Amanda calls her husband who shows up. So now we got like 4 adult men looking at this engine, bunch of kids, women playing with the kids and talking amongst themselves.
Tailgate.
Like it's literally become a tailgate. Like I'm pretty sure somebody had beer.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly, but I swear to God there had to have been, certainly tokes were going around. Like joints were
hilarious,
and we're trying to figure this out, and like we said, we ended up not, and I ended up buying the truck that I have now.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 days before the trip. Not wired properly for a trailer. Like we had to do a whole crap load of work on the truck as we were going.
There's definitely some janky wiring to get the running lights going before we cross the border.
Yeah.
Do they now? I'm not well traveled internationally. So is that something they look at when you go over the border? They're like, oh, does this signal work? Does this break?
No.
I think the running lights are more of a up here in Canada mandatory thing.
Okay. So they're a little more lax over the border.
In some ways, yeah. In some ways, no. They're good. I got a speeding ticket. I got a ticket for driving too slow in the left-hand lane in Minnesota.
Okay.
Which
it pulls you over. He's like, "What are you doing, Grandpa?" And you're like,
pretty much. Like I'm driving down the road and I'm going like 90 an hour. Like this is decent speed.
And was that partially confusing with like the miles per hour, kilometers per hour thing? Like
No, honestly, you pick up on it really quick. It's the small numbers.
Okay,
right?
so but it wasn't the thing but that's not why you were just kind of taking your time.
No, it's like 90 an hour is like peak fuel efficiency. Anything more than that, you start losing, right? And I'm going across the country, right?
Yeah,
so
it was literally like, okay, I'm not in a huge hurry. I'm gonna take my time, save a bit of gas, and okay, I got you.
Yeah, it was an economic.
So it was intentional. It wasn't, but
I was meaning to go. Yeah. Not thinking that they have a new law. Like the law had come out like 2 weeks later or 2 weeks prior, where it's like you have to drive a certain speed in the left-hand lane. And apparently did not get. I still got the ticket in my truck because I haven't been home yet. Which I got to pay before I go back to the States. I'm gonna guess probably next year.
Right. Expensive ticket?
I have no idea.
Say call this number when
you're
you're done.
He literally
it doesn't say.
No, he writes you a citation, says call this number. You can find out how much you need to pay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Oh, it really was.
That's okay. Crazy. All right. Anyway, so let's reframe. Let's back up here. I feel like we're zigzag, which is great. I like all the stories, but just for frame of reference. So at this point, so after that, you get back to you do that gig in Clearwater, and you get back home after that.
Yeah.
You end up buying a new truck, and the tour starts essentially like at 2 weeks after that. At that point, because you've spent
3 days.
Because you lost all that time.
So it was the 2 weeks was spent fixing the truck.
Yeah.
I went home for a couple days, and then I went to Clearwater to play that gig, and that died. And then in between me buying the truck and the breakdown, I ended up chasing like a water pump leak.
Okay.
So it started off as where the water pump connects to the engine block, and then it was the backing plate that started leaking, and then it started pissing out of the front where the actual fan connects.
Okay.
Like this thing was determined to die.
Okay. All right, so you didn't even have a good amount of time at all in between where you could, revamp and readjust.
Oh, there was no. It was literally like my kid's mom. She came by the night before, and like it was actually one of the nicest things she's ever said to me, because I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm not prepared for this tour. Like, this is whole crap kind of thing. And, like starting to have anxiety and stuff like that. And she's just like, look, man, whatever comes your way, you'll deal with it. You always do. You got this. Mm-hmm. Right? Which, if I had that kind of support when we were together, we might actually panned out all right,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, even then she was like, you got this, you're fine. But I was like, oh my God.
Okay. All right.
I'm not prepared for this at all.
Right. Okay. So at this point, we get home here. Your tours start in 3 days. You pick up a new truck. You fix a few little things on it, and you're off on the road again.
Pretty much.
Okay. So now, from this point, so what do you have planned on this tour at this point? Like, obviously the plan is to go to New York. The tour is called New York or Bust, correct? Yeah. Okay. So what's the plan travel wise? Give me a quick little roadmap.
Drop down to Seattle.
Okay.
Cut across, go. I think it's down the I-90.
Yeah, mostly I-90.
Yeah, cruise down the I-90, hit up Minneapolis.
All right.
Was the next gig after that. And then it was supposed to be Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, then New York City.
Okay.
Those were my 5.
So my American geography is a little rusty, but that's a good swath. That's literally across the entire country.
Oh yeah,
straight across the
coast.
East Coast. Okay.
Literally coast to coast.
And do you have stuff coming back as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had Ottawa.
So you come up through the border on the east end.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then drove back through that way.
Okay. Gotcha. So you all the way there, turn around, come up through the north, and then gotcha.
So
yes, okay. So you hit the road. What happens from there?
Seattle's great.
Okay.
Seattle, like, well, actually, driving into the States, I realized that my phone doesn't work across the border, so I'm like,
right,
all right, fine.
You don't have an international data plan.
Well, I do, but like, I was with Freedom Mobile, and they're like hands down.
Definitely the cheapest I've seen.
Yeah, but they're trash. They're fucking trash, man. It was literally hands down.
Sponsor.
Hands down, the worst service I've ever had with a phone company ever. The guy tells me that I have 10 gigs and that it'll work in freaking Kamloops and yada yada yada. Well, Kamloops is not in their service area. So my 10 gigs of data that I've been paying for months and getting angry with my ridiculously slow service. Like, why is this so slow? But I'm like, I got work in construction, hanging out with my kids. I'm a single dad, right? So I'm trying to put time into that, especially since I'm leaving. I just never think to call them. Well, it turns out that like if I'm not in their service area, like I get 1 gig of data and then they slow it down.
Okay.
Well, it slowed down as I was trying to research how to fix my truck. Right? So I get across the border. I'm like, screw this. Mm-hmm. Like I'm phone's not attached. I'm gonna get an American SIM card, throw it in my phone, run that until I get back to Canada, grab a new SIM card from a different company.
And I think they have cheaper plans there anyway.
Right, they're amazing.
It's great. $45. It's unlimited data, unlimited international calling, freaking like we
still got to listen to how the world's burning in real time down the road.
I literally would put on YouTube because I watch like Tim Pool, freaking who else? Like Sargon and Cat. Like I don't know if you know much YouTubers and stuff like that, but like that kind of pool of thought and stuff like that. And so I'm driving down the road, and we had it playing like the radio.
Yeah.
The entire trip.
Yeah.
Across, like. Never once slowed down. We used it as a hotspot. I was able to Skype my kids, like
check the security camera.
Check the security cameras at the house back home. Like we were able to do all the things. Mm-hmm. All the things. And then you get back here and you're like
yeah, what? I think I pay like $130 a month for like 6 gigs of data and I get call and text and whatever. And I mean service is decent. Not in the mountains, obviously. Yeah. But that's one thing that's always baffled me. Side note, I guess, is why we don't have like a decent service here compared to the States.
It literally has to do with the fact that we have supply management in Canada.
Yeah, all the regulations.
Yeah, we're like we need to protect as if Canadians can't compete with the Americans. You know what? We're a bunch of fucking savages up here. You're goddamn right we can compete. Like, let's open up this market. Like, what do you want?
I'm for it. Deregulate is fine. Let's totally,
deregulate and freaking
get that American cheese up here.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay. So Seattle's great. Good turnout, I assume.
Oh yeah,
pays decent for a gig and
hot bartender.
Yeah,
really hot bartender.
What was her name? Evan.
Her name is Evan.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
You can't assume her gender.
I'm going to.
By that crop top, you're damn right I will.
Not only could you assume her gender, she knew exactly what gender she was and was using it to get great tips, I'm sure. Like, top tier. She probably saved
Not assuming gender was totally for the bathroom's purpose. The whatever, just wash your hands signs on both.
It was great. So yeah, we're cruising along. We go through Montana. Everything's great.
Yeah.
And then I got this buddy named Jamie out in Pine Rivers, Minnesota.
Okay.
And I call him up, and I'm like, hey, you're not too far from Minneapolis. I'm going to, you up for a visit? I could kick it with you for a day. He's like, all right. He's a couple days out of the way, or a couple hours out of the way. It's like 3 hours from his place to Minneapolis. Not that far. That's where my next gig is. It's a good spot to just, rest for a little while. Mm-hmm. We'd been cruising for I think, 4 or 5 days. No, like a week at this point. And, yeah, freaking, as we're rolling.
Oh, yeah, because we weren't doing any night driving because of the wiring issues.
And
oh, yeah.
So
okay.
we're rolling into.
That makes sense. Never even thought of that.
Oh, yeah. We were limited on night driving. We were. There was lots of limitations on this trip.
Mm-hmm.
So we're driving into Pine River, but we're about 45 minutes.
About 20 miles, I think Jamie said.
Yeah,
we were at.
Right. And I'm watching the lights, and it's like they're getting dimmer. Right?
On like your headlights?
Yeah.
Okay.
My headlights are getting dimmer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do the headlights look like they're getting duller? Like, and he looks up, he goes, no, they're fine. All of a sudden they kick back in and they're like bright, and he's like, oh, we got problems.
And then came the zombie fog.
Yeah. And as soon as that happens, we just see we're talking like Silent Hill levels of fog just start rolling in. Right? And
ominous.
Right? Right? Like, I've seen this movie. It doesn't end well. So we're cruising along, and
and the two of you, no offense, are like prime subjects for a horror movie too.
Oh my God.
Like this is not video. People can't see this.
I may have long hair, but I won't trip over nothing in the dark.
But I mean, think about it. You got two guys touring through the States from Canada in the middle of, what is this, Minnesota at this point?
Back roads.
Backcountry.
You can totally see it.
Right?
It's the plot of a horror movie.
Oh, it's straight up.
So
we're going, and then, much like Calgary, the fucking power, the radio goes out.
And you're like, Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah.
You hear Fortunate
no,
Son in the background.
I recognize this. You gotta be shitting, please, no. And then signals go, and I'm like,
Clearwater Revival's playing in the background.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? And I'm like, I gotta pull over. So I pull over, and this is the only 50-foot stretch of this fucking highway between the town that we had left, where I first started noticing some issues, and Pine Rivers, where there's a shoulder you can pull over on.
Okay, so it's kind of a dead spot with no proper
shoulder. There's no shoulder.
Okay.
There's first person to roll up is a cop.
Yeah.
He's like, are you okay? I'm like, I broke down, not entirely sure what's going on. I got a buddy that I'm in contact with. He's like, all right, well, you're off the road, so I guess good luck.
Right.
Drives off.
Yeah. Yeah, what's he gonna do, right?
Yeah,
write you a ticket.
You can tow my vehicle. They do that a lot out there. So, yeah. So I was lucky that I found the only place to pull up. So, and then we're sitting there and we're trying to figure out what's wrong. It's like, okay, well, the alternator looks good, the connections look good. What's going on? And we hear freaking movement in the bushes. And oh yeah, that was the other thing. I got chased down when I was broke down in Canmore. I got followed because I went walking into town the first night because I was hungry, and yeah, didn't go too far into town because I heard something big kind of going.
Oh no!
I turned around and walked back to my truck, and I was like, "That's it. I'm going to sleep. And I'll be hungry." And
shining the light over the fields in the area and seeing the little sparkly eyeballs staring up at you.
Yeah.
Shit.
So we're like, oh, we're going in the camper. That's it. That's all.
So there was some wildlife, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you spent the night there on the side of the road?
No, my buddy Jamie came and he hooked us up to his truck.
Yeah.
And then he towed the truck and the trailer back to.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fortunate then that at least he had a big enough truck to handle both you and the camper.
Yeah.
To where you needed to go.
So I mean that was pretty good, and then we roll up and get the alternator working. And it was just like a gummed up connection for where the alternator connects.
Yeah. Okay.
Easy fix. Easy.
I feel like, and I mean, not to diminish your struggle, I feel like 90% of the time that's kind of what it ends up being is just something's not tight enough, or there's you gotta clean the connection and
a lot of the time
things like that.
That's what the issue
Little
is.
electrical things, and I see it all the time. Guys working in the yard where I work and stuff, they are like, oh, my trailer's not. They have these big dump trailers, like, oh, my trailer's not. I'm like, well, did you tighten that wire on there? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, no, that one. I'm like, well, I mean, you need both on there, right?
Takes at least 2 to get a job done.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying, right? So 90% of the time I go over there and you just tighten the wire on a little bit or scrape it off and then it works, right? Like, it's not rocket science, right?
Yeah.
It's basic electrical
Things need to be clear.
connections. Anyway, so continue.
So yeah, we get that clean, and while we're doing that, we're like, all right, well, we're hanging out here for a day or two. Like, let's take care of a couple of the things that we've been meaning to take care of on this trip, but just haven't really had the time yet.
Sure.
So he starts looking at the wiring and checking all that out and yada yada yada. And Jamie's helping him out with that. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna redo my sound system because it wasn't installed properly. And while I'm doing that, Jamie calls me over and goes, bro, we got a problem. Look at the inside of the wheel well. I'm spitting oil and it's spraying back on my camper and yada yada. And I'm like, all right, well, this is a seal in the axle, not a big issue. Mm-hmm. It's like $20 in parts and like half an hour. And it's really not a hard job, or so I thought. We take off the back of the rear differential because you got to like take off the back rear diff housing, push in you got to undo a bolt, take out a center pin for the spider gears, push the axle in, pull the C-clip, pull the axle out, and then just pop the seal in. It's inconvenient, but not like it's
not as bad as what you've had to deal with at this point.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Well, the pin that holds the spider gears in place, there's a bolt that goes to the spider gear housing that holds that pin in place. Well, as I undid it, it snapped.
Oh, okay.
We didn't realize there was only threaded about yay far, about an inch, and then the rest was just a pin kind of thing. So we're trying to take this thing out, and we end up pushing it right into the fucking housing. It's locked. We tried using a welder to tack it and like pull it back out and like tried all the things.
You tried drilling it and tapping it and removing it with a extractor.
We were trying to use like easy outs and shit. Finally, it's just like, all right, now it's a big problem. Mm-hmm. This $40 job now cost me $1,700.
Wow.
In Minnesota.
1,700. Is it like because you needed a new axle assembly, or like what?
What
was the thing that cost $1,700?
I had to buy the spider gear housing, new spider gears, because in order to get that little pin and the retaining pin, you have to buy the spider gears and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Like it just comes as a kit. So I went and bought that, right? And I had to take out another loan because I had to take out a loan for the truck, and then I had to take another loan to fix the truck again.
Wow.
Right? And it was a personal loan from a family friend, so she's been very patient with me through getting back and all that because things went really sideways out there. And then, so I had to drill through the spider gear housing on either side of the retaining pin to get the retaining pin basically separated where there was like a spot that I could force the main pin out, which took me about 7 hours of drilling.
Wow.
Like it took me all bloody day.
Holy cow.
And then I'm trying to take apart this. So I get that out, get the pin out, get the axle all taken apart, and then I'm trying to take out the old housing. And I swear to God, like, engineers are mad at a fucking mechanic because the engineer's wife must have ran off.
Nothing's accessible. Yeah.
Oh, no, and, like, the engineer's wife must have ran off of the mechanic because, like, there's a spindle in the side, inside the axle that you have to have a specialty tool in order to reach in and turn it so that you can release enough pressure to actually pull out the axle. We had to forge a fucking tool. Like, and it's the only one within 100 miles of Pine Rivers, Minnesota. Like, the only one.
Wow.
That's what you get for having a Dodge and not Dodge country.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. It was faster for me to order the brand new parts than it was for me to get a used axle from a junkyard. Because the junkyard, the new parts were actually further away than the freaking used axle. So yeah, where was it? So I finally get, and apparently while I was trying to get this housing out before I realized that there was a sprocket, or this little spindle. I don't know the actual technical name for it, but it's like
a reverse nut.
It's the reverse of what a socket would do.
Yeah.
So you have to have like a nut on a pole that like fits in, and then you can turn it.
But reverse thread.
Not even reverse thread. Just it's like a nut, like a big one, about an inch and a half thick, on the end of a pole that we had to weld onto this pole with a thing drilled through it to allow us to turn it.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to forge a tool, like custom craft a tool, so that we could do this job. But yeah, apparently before I figured that out, I was just like getting mad because I'm like, why won't you get out of my truck? Yeah. And I picked up the back end of the friggin' pickup.
Just so mad, decided
to
press a truck an inch off the jacks.
Yeah, like apparently Jamie's kid thought I was gonna die. He thought I was gonna die. Like everybody's like, he's gonna die because this damn thing's gonna fall on him because I'm picking it off the jacks by like an inch. And yeah, so like finally get that and put it back together, and that worked great. And then went to Chicago, and it was basically just like me trying to catch up from then on out. I had to cancel Minneapolis because I couldn't get there. Mm-hmm. And then...
Yeah, how many days did that set you back?
A week.
A week? Yeah. So you were stuck at your friend's house for a week?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just working on this bloody thing.
No kidding. Okay.
And waiting for parts. And
and all things considered, I would point out, so because of the way you booked this tour, because it was supposed to be a couple of solid gigs and a lot of busking in between, that because any one of these problems on a regular tour would have just ended the tour.
Yeah.
Right? Like the first thing where you were set back more than 2 days, you could have canceled the whole thing.
Yeah.
So because they were so spaced, that was your only saving.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely saved my ass there. It's like having this.
That's why I was kind of confused. I didn't realize it was that how you had built your tour, because I was kind of confused at first. I'm like, how do you have all these troubles and still be on tour? Like, this doesn't make any sense. You can't just push these shows. These venues have other shows booked, right? So,
well, yeah, I was...
smart planning due to historic past.
So yeah, I'm finally get this thing back running, and I had to cancel Minneapolis because, like I said, it was like it was like 2 days later that I was going into Pine Rivers that I was supposed to be playing in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I had to cancel that. Like, didn't even make it. Then I go to Chicago the next day. I got a buddy there. Stop there, and then I was gonna head over to Pittsburgh. And I get like, when I leave in the morning, according to the GPS, I have all the time in the world to make it there. Like, I left at like 9 or 10 in the morning, and I'm like, I gotta be there for 7 o'clock. It's like a 7-hour trip there. Mm-hmm. Even factoring in the time change, like, I should be able to, well, we hit traffic coming, because when you're going from Chicago to Indiana, which is the next state over, it's like you're in Chicago, and then you hit the border and you're in Indiana, but it's still city.
Okay.
Well, the traffic was like bumper to bumper. Speed limit's like 90, 100k an hour. It's like 55, 60, around that. We're going like 30 miles an hour, if that. Probably closer to like 20 miles an hour, which is hovering around the 40, 30 mark. Mm-hmm. Right? We're not moving at all. And I'm watching the estimated time just rolling up. So finally make it past that, and I'm going, and I'm trying to take as few breaks as possible, even though it's like a full day of driving, but I'm like, okay, well, I got to get there. And finally I realized, like, look, I'm not going to make it there on time. Shoot a message to the venue. Hey, can we push the gig back by an hour and a half? I'm on my way. Traffic in Chicago was just absurd. And at first it's like, yeah. Totally. I had sent a message to the business Facebook account as well as called in, and they're like, oh yeah. And when I called in, they're like, yeah, sure, by all means, like, push it back, we'll be here. Well, I get a message on the Facebook as well, and they're like, yeah, no, sorry, we can't do that. Well, this is when I'm like within 100 miles of Pittsburgh. I'm like, all right, crap. So I go over to my buddy's place, which is north of Pittsburgh by like an hour, and just kind of bypass Pittsburgh, which was it Pittsburgh that the shooting was in, or was that Philly?
No,
it was Philly.
So wait, so you got conflicting answers there? So you messaged them, and then obviously you didn't get an immediate response, and then you called? Is that what happened? And then they said yes, and then later the Facebook account. So did they explain what?
They were just they closed at 11, I guess, and they're just like, there's not gonna be anybody here, so like, there's no point in doing this.
Okay, well then why tell you yes?
I don't know. I wasn't arguing with them. It was like, I was running late. This is my bad.
You want to put them on blast?
Yeah, I'm not.
It's super unprofessional.
Like, it was definitely more my fault than
I mean, it's your fault in so much as you weren't there on time.
Yeah.
But that happens, especially on an international tour.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, you can't, realistically, if you have equipment failures, breakdowns, if you have extreme traffic like that.
Yeah.
If you have medical problems of some sort, all kinds of things like that. Like, there's things that you can't help. There's a reason we write them into contracts as acts of God.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't do anything about them. So,
yeah.
I mean.
So, then I'm heading over to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Or Philly.
Philly, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And I bypassed Pittsburgh to go just north to go to my buddy Jesse's place, and while I'm there, I noticed that I have an email from the Fire, which is a great venue that I have yet to play at. I will play there next year. But during all of my troubles, they'd asked me to find 2 other acts to play with me, like local acts, strong local acts. Well, I didn't find them because, well, I had a vehicle breakdown on me in Canmore, and then I was just...
So it was like one of those things that was like on the to-do list that just got pushed further and further
Yeah,
back
I was spending all this time trying to fix my vehicle, and then by the time... It just completely slipped my mind that I never did it. Right? And then I roll out, I'm like, again, 100 miles out, and they're like, so are you coming? We haven't heard from you. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. They're like, well, who else is playing? I'm like, I didn't get anybody, but I have enough time. Like, I have enough music that I can cover an entire evening. And they're like, look, man, like, we have $180 production costs to set up, and if it hasn't really been promoted, so again, I dropped the ball on that one. And well, what this ended up doing was I made it so that I couldn't afford to get into New York. Like, New York is an expensive place.
Yeah.
Like, you can make good money busking in the subway system and all that, but my visa ended on the 18th. My gig was on the 18th. It was going to be like, drive in, play the gig, and then out I go. But now I can't even get to freaking New York. Like, I can't even get into it, let alone pay all the toll,
Yeah.
Because there's tolls you got to pay. There's freaking gas is still cheaper than Canada, but really expensive there. Plus, you got parking.
Discovery about all the propane in the trailer being a problem.
Yeah,
in tunnels.
If you have more than 10 pounds of propane, you can't. Like, you have to get prior approval from the Department of Transportation, DOT or something like that.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, like they got a lot of rules going in, and you have to get permits, and there's fees and stuff that I just didn't realize, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, that happens. I mean, because unless you've been doing this for a period of time, or if you have a tour manager who's done this before, how would you know? Like, you learn on the fly, with anything else. So
yeah,
it's understandable.
So what ultimately ended up happening was it was just the tour was a bust.
New York or bust.
New York or bust. It was a bust. There was no scrounging this back. Like, it was literally like, I was like, okay, do I risk going in there and then be stuck, piss off Homeland Security, not be welcomed back, kind of thing, or do I just say screw this? I'm heading north.
Yeah.
So one of my friends, because I just sent a message to this group chat that I'm in of people who've been kind of actually really supportive of my career over the last long while, actually. And I was just like, this is it. Tour is done. I don't know. I didn't even have money to get back to Canada.
Right.
And I was like, I've pretty much just tapped myself out here.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And she was just like, she sends me $100 US. She's like, go home. Mm-hmm. Like, get back to Canada. Because here's the thing about visas is you can only work as a whatever you're...
Yeah, you can't do anything else on your work visa.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not like I can be traveling through and be like, all right, well, I'm good at roofing.
Yeah.
It's not like you can be like, hey, like, you guys need a roofer?
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but if you get caught, then you'll be disinvited or whatever.
Oh, yeah. You're banned for 10 years.
Yeah, you're
if not life.
What do they call that? Persona non gratis? Is that the right word? Persona non gratis, where you for 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, you're just not welcome.
You have to do the work that you're declared to do.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna step outside of that, because I actually really like the States.
Yeah.
If you ever get the chance to go and hang out there,
for sure,
I strongly recommend it. Though,
if you don't mind me asking, just a side question, what did your visa cost? Because I've gotten mixed responses about what that is.
So you have to pay for the AFM union, like the
you join the union for sure.
Join the union, and then you have to pay $600 US for a Homeland Security visa.
Okay. And
then it's another $120 for the administration fee through the union.
Okay. So you're looking at about around $800 US?
You're looking at about $1,000 Canadian.
Okay. That's
$1,100 Canadian.
Yeah. And and obviously that covers whatever span of time you could declare.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, no, just side note, there's some dates I'm looking at next year just for myself.
Nice.
And other people out there listening, if they don't know about visas when you're touring internationally.
Now you know.
A lot of places require work visas. There are some places that don't. Some other, like I think Finland doesn't require a visa, for example, things like that. But you can't just cross the border and play and make money.
No, they will kick you out.
Oh yeah, they will.
With impunity.
Yeah. Well, it's their country, right? Do whatever they want.
Exactly.
So okay, so you, the nice people, your supporters, pony up, give you $100.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we're booting home.
Yeah, it's like, we're out. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you have the Canadian dates on the way back? Are you hitting those at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's still another week out before Ottawa.
Okay.
So.
Because you're early, right? Is that the idea? You're early?
I'm early. I was expecting to land
First
there.
you were late, now you're early. That's hilarious. Wow.
And I get to Canada. And my expectation was that I was going to go busking a lot once I got back, but it was like, okay, busking is good, but I need something that's really going to pack on hours and make money kind of thing. So I was like, all right, putting that out on Ottawa Cash Jobs. It's like, look, I'm passing through. I can build stuff, I can work on vehicles, and I can kind of cook, half decent. And I got a strong back in a truck. What do you need done? And these guys, Sean and Darren, I think his name is. I got his card somewhere, but they shot me a message like, we need a laborer. Do you want to come help us out for a day? I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. So I go there and I clean up the job site and all that, and they're like, all right, well, cool, and kind of ask me what's going on. I'm like, well, kind of gave them the story about what was going on, and I'm like, if you guys need help, and
so you're just trying to get enough money together for the trip home kind of thing?
To make it home kind of thing, because at that point...
And you're burning time as well.
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Yeah,
because not only are you early, you also have to live for that week. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Now we had a pretty good chunk of cash we had like resources, like we had food, we had, you know, like I have fifth wheel, like
you had some
just
stuff
the generator.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We got to borrow it. Well, and what happened was I got a friend who's a psychiatrist he teaches at Ryerson University.
Okay.
But he knew this guy in Ottawa. Oren Amate. I recommend checking him out. Oh, he's good shit. He linked me up with his buddy in Ottawa as a place to park, and I had 2 very nice conversations with the guy, and then I get a message from Oren saying, "Hey, I don't know what happened, but this guy says he wants you gone today and does not want to talk to you." I'm like,
followed by a swift message to me.
Yeah,
what the hell did you say to the guy?
Yeah.
What the
I
hell?
haven't seen him today.
I'm like, did you talk to this guy? I don't want to say his name because I don't want to put it
Yeah,
on. But
fair enough.
I'm like, did you talk to this guy, or like what happened here? And he's like, I've been sitting in the trailer looking for work, man. I'm like, oh, all right, well, I'll be there in a bit, I guess.
Crazy.
So I'll finish working out the day and go back, grab the trip. The guys that I was working for, they're like, "Oh shit, you just work the week with us and just park your camper right over across the street there.
Yeah.
We'll have security on site with you being here, and you have a place to crash where you won't be bothered." So it was kind of nice. And
wow, there you go.
they'd show up, and I'd kind of watch them start working a little bit, and I'd drink my coffee because, well, I'm a musician, and I'd kind of just want to work on my own time.
Yeah.
They didn't care. They're like, yeah, he starts working. He doesn't. That's really up to him.
Yeah.
And then I worked with them for about a week. They were good guys. It was like Sean, Darren, Matt.
What kind of work? So obviously it was like labor work, but
Yeah, framing.
Okay, gotcha.
Job
It's gonna
site
be
clean
such a
up
gorgeous house when it's done.
Oh yeah, just like multi-million-dollar house.
Mm-hmm.
And then finished out the week. Played the gig. I helped a friend. I got a friend out there named Sarah, and she was moving with her. Like her and her boyfriend were moving because their apartment was just like roach infested. It was disgusting.
No. Yeah.
And helped them move for a little bit of cash and played the gig, and then headed out, and we drove through Minnesota again, like kind of cut through like.
So you crossed the border.
Yeah,
Was it shorter or why?
It was shorter, and my buddy was just like, "Hey, if you roll up, I'll give you a tank of gas, and we'll feed you, get you set up with some more food." And,
okay, gotcha.
He knew that, like
visit and.
Yeah, he's like, "Come visit. We'll help you get all set up." And
this is the same guy where you stopped before.
Yeah, the same place where I had to rebuild the rear diff.
Okay, gotcha.
So we get there. He helps us out with some gas money. I end up making it up to Brandon. Play the gig there. That went really smooth. And then we drove back towards Calgary. I'm just trying to think if anything happened in that. That was a relatively like
Brandon to Calgary was fine.
Yeah,
blew the power steering pump.
Oh yeah, Ottawa. Yeah, freaking driving around and the power steering pump goes.
Oh no.
Battery explodes pretty much at the border.
The battery in the camper.
I love how that's the point in which you're like, I mean, nothing really happened after that.
We had to saw off half the line on the were we like 30 miles from the border pretty much?
Oh yeah.
And the damn trailer line came unhinged and just sawed right in half, dragging into pavement.
We had to rewire the trailer because the damn thing just.
As if there wasn't enough wiring gone wrong.
Here's
in
the
this
trailer
journey.
plug right here.
Yeah.
It like a foot up.
Yeah.
Just wore all the right through it. So it's still attached. I'm like, why don't I have trailer brakes? This is just very strange.
Just got used to having those finally hooked up.
Yeah, I'm like, this feels really weird. Why am I having such an issue slowing down again? Well, they weren't connected.
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. I'm just digesting all of this. This is a lot of.
And then.
Wow.
So we get that fixed, and then we're driving along, and the night before we can smell hydrogen sulfide, right?
Okay.
What is it?
Sulfuric.
H2S, and it's just this egg, rotten egg smell is just like it's permeating everything.
Did you have propane leaking in your
No, the battery went bad, but we didn't realize this, right? And fun fact, batteries tend to explode when they really go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sleeping in the camper because I don't care how bad it smells. I'm freaking sleeping in my bed. Not realizing that I'm sleeping directly above.
I knew that was an unhappy smell from working with all those trucks over the years, man.
So we ended up getting a new battery in Minnesota because the battery that we had was gonna blow up, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of systems just started working. We got the radio working in the camper
because you had intermittent and partial voltage out of that battery.
Yeah.
I never did get it tested beyond 6.5 volt or so.
Oh, yeah, that's not right.
No.
Yeah. So we're like, we deal with that, and then what else? Yeah, the freaking power steering pump went in. I'm like driving back from Sarah's place because we just hung out the one night, and I think this was when I was busking. It was when I was busking. We're driving back from me busking.
Where was this?
In Ottawa.
Okay.
When the power steering pump went, and I'm driving back, and I can smell this burning smell. And at this point, I've developed a very healthy paranoia of everything. like anytime there's a smell, a squeak, strange oscillation.
Yeah.
Of I'm like
the studs and everything.
I'm like, Jesus, what's going wrong? What's wrong now? What's wrong now? Like, you gotta be kidding. Like, right? And I'm smelling burning. I'm like, do you smell that? And he's like, I'm sure it's just the semi truck that just drove past us, right? And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, he rolled down the window and he broke wind. I mean, I don't know.
Because as we were leaving the States in upstate New York, my power steering pump just started, like, the reservoir was just leaking fluid. Okay. I was down to Armstrong steering for most of the way out of New York.
And then it started working again?
Oh no! I just was using strength to turn the.
Oh,
vehicle,
okay.
Right?
Okay.
Well, because the pump had no lubrication.
Yeah. It's
spinning and spinning and spinning, and then seized
up,
up, right?
Gotcha.
So I'm driving back.
All the wear happened. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm like, is there do you smell that burning? Like, is that me or like what's going on? And he's like, no, it's fine. Everything's good. Well, we get back to the camper at the construction site, and smoke just starts billowing out of the hood of my truck, and I'm like, oh damn, not again.
I honestly thought at that point there that it was my janky ass wiring for the power back end.
Yeah, we thought maybe there was an electrical fire or something. Open it up, and the power steering pump is just billowing smoke off of it. Like, it's cooked.
At least it's.
I think I actually got some footage of the plume of smoke coming off of that thing.
Did you?
Oh,
nice. And then we're looking at this, and like, luckily,
why not again?
Yeah, like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I was being paid cash and stuff from the construction, like daily, basically. So I just go and pick myself up a new part, come back, and he and Eric installed it for me, which was sweet because I was framing.
That was ass using a 40-pound friggin' 6-foot bar as the breaker bar, just a chunk of square tubing from one of the guys' work vans.
Just to separate the
high pressure line underneath.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, the nice thing about Dodges is it's like 3 bolts.
Okay.
Like it's an easy power steering. It's not like with the Chevy where you actually have to take off.
Too skinny to bench
pulley.
press and twist.
So.
Oh man.
But yeah, you got that fixed, and then once we got back to Brandon, and like everything went well, and Brandon smoked a fat doobie. Like, as soon as we got back to Canada,
very
just de-stress.
Overpriced as hell. Like, no wonder Canada is losing billions of dollars in weed leave it up to the Liberal government
to lose money.
Selling weed. You know who doesn't lose money selling weed?
Literally,
like deadbeat dad. Like, single dad who's, like, doesn't leave his house other than to buy groceries. People come to him to buy weed, and he still makes a profit. How is leave it to our government to lose money selling?
Only the Canadian government can lose money selling drugs.
Yeah,
you're correct.
It's because we all love our friendly neighborhood guy.
It's true.
This was
especially when an eighth goes for like $36.
This was my whole argument when they came out with the weed legislation thing. Was that like I don't really smoke. People do it and that's cool. Like it's not my thing. But when they came out with all that legislation, I'm like, people aren't gonna stop buying from their guy that they already have. No. I have friends that smoke weed. They literally order it in the mail. It comes to their door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It shows up in a pizza box or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
It shows up in a package. And it shows up to their door and it's better quality than what you can buy here. Yeah. And it's cheaper. It's way cheaper. Yeah. So really, realistically, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like it's not.
But you go down to Seattle, man. It's like what we bought a decent sized joint for $3.50 American.
Mm-hmm. Seattle was insane for how they handled their bud. It's just sitting there in a friggin' bag on a shelf.
Right.
Yeah.
All in jars. None of this crazy 3 tiers of wrap around it.
I think it was in North Battleford when we were on tour. We stopped and we popped into the shop there because I like CBD oil. I'm a big kind of like health nut kind of guy. I like to try some stuff like that. And so I got some of that and my percussionist, he was like, hey, I want to pick up whatever, and so he goes in there and he bought like I think he bought a joint that it was like $8.
Yeah, it's like,
it was like, what?
Yeah, like,
oh my goodness,
nobody is gonna go to that.
That's the most expensive habit I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
how do you afford that?
And it's like nobody's gonna go to the friggin' legal market because it's way too over. It's like $36 for an eighth, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know where it costs that? Fucking like middle of nowhere Yukon or some shit like that. You know, like where like they don't get enough sunlight to grow things.
Yeah.
Where's that? Anthony follows the get it in the mail process.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you've got home. You're de-stressing. You're relaxing.
Yeah.
And so this coming up here now, coming up to Edmonton, we're playing tomorrow in Millet. Is this like supposed to be like your second leg kind of thing, or how is this supposed to play out? Because obviously it didn't kind of go how you were planning it to go.
Canada has been going pretty smooth.
Yeah. So like I mean, with those things like a power steering pump, like that's stuff
that was minor. It's like
that's doable.
$40.
Like realistically, like speaking, if you had only planned a Canadian tour, and all you had was the problems that you had in Canada.
Oh, it would have been a very successful
tour. And you probably would have walked away even with decent money after that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's not
absolutely
terrible considering.
Like,
but so you've gone home now and you're back this way, I guess is my question. Like what's
Oh no, I'm still going home.
Oh, so you've
I haven't even made it back to BC
okay,
yet.
Okay, so you just came all the way from Ottawa.
Yeah, drove through Pine River up to Brandon, Manitoba, and then across Saskatchewan and landed in Calgary.
Gotcha.
I got some work doing insulation.
In Calgary?
In Calgary.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. I was so confused for a minute. I thought that you went home and then you came back up just to do that. Like,
oh no.
That's a long drive. Like I did that drive a month ago from not from Kamloops, sorry, from Kelowna. Which is I think is similar distance relatively, maybe an hour or two difference. Whether you leave from Kamloops or Kelowna, is it?
A couple hours different.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but that's a long drive. I think the longest one-off show I did a show in Vernon, and I drove down there for a single show, and that was a pretty, like
that's a good haul.
Yeah. It was a long drive. It was quite a bit. But anyway, so so is this the last one?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like this is the one, and then I'm going home.
That's crazy.
Because it's like I'm done.
Oh yeah, wow.
I was thinking about staying in Edmonton, trying to find some work, and like really fluff my return. Mm-hmm. But man, I'm just
you're bagged, eh?
Oh man,
I don't blame you. Yeah.
What is it like?
If you can go home, go home.
Yeah, it's what 31 days in August plus July 31st, so that's 32. I'm probably sitting at like 40 days now.
Yeah. Wow. Or what's the route from here then? Are you gonna go down through like take the Yellowhead into like and go down like what is it 100 Mile House or whatever? Are you gonna go that route? Or are you gonna go back to Calgary?
100 Mile is like it's like an added 10 hours just to get to Prince George.
Okay, so I'll rephrase.
I'd be going through like Valemount.
Right. So are you gonna go west and then south, or are you
Yeah.
gonna go down to Calgary and then go down the?
No, I'm just gonna go west.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
it'll take less time. It's
Right.
It's smoother trip. You know, it's familiar territory.
Right.
I'm far more familiar coming to. I used to live in Edmonton, and I've done a lot of traveling back and forth between
Okay.
the two.
Okay.
So I'm like pretty much ready to go home.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. You look like it. You look like it. I don't mean that as an insult. You look road worn. You look like you're like. Wow.
Oh man, I was clean shaven when I left.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough.
Like legitimately, and I know that nobody can see this right now, but I got like a beard going on.
You do, yeah.
Like a mountain man beard.
You know what it is? It actually it makes me think of the it's like the Hutterite beard.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
You know, it's like I'm thoroughly road weathered at this point, and it's like I'm looking forward to just like sleeping in my bed.
Yeah.
My buddy Chris, he was very insistent that I stay in his house, but I'm at the point now where it's like camper is home.
Yeah, you're just I get
right?
it.
So he's like, well, I don't even understand why you're not coming inside. I'm like, look, man, would you rather sleep in a hotel room, even if it's nicer than your house, or your house?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, it's like, and if it's like a vacation thing, maybe, but yeah, your home is your home.
Yeah, and, you know, like at this point, like the camper's the home. It's like this is my space, and it's more my home than my rental suite is, because my rental suite is not mine. You know, it's like the camper is like.
Well, okay, so you know what, and it's like, to think about it this way, like everything considered, like there's not a lot worse situations you could be in from here on forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. And I don't mean like on the way home. What I mean is like in the rest of your life, like what are you gonna do? You're gonna lose your apartment? Well, okay, you've been homeless. You've been homeless on the side of the road for 9 days, right?
Yeah.
Fixing your truck with your hands and no tools and.
Well, I mean, I had tools, but
Yeah, but you didn't have tools.
Yeah.
Right.
I had to buy them. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So like, there's not a lot worse situations. I mean, unless you go over to like, I don't know, Syria or something like that. But like realistically,
Realistically in North America, like, no, I'm probably not going to end up in a more unpleasant.
Right.
We left Chicago with the required amount of holes still in our bodies.
Exactly. No extras. I'm happy.
So what I'm saying is that's a valuable piece of like life affirming information that you can just hold on to. I feel like that's gotta somewhat feel good.
Oh,
right?
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, the tour can basically be summed up as that didn't go as planned.
Yeah.
Destruct tour.
Yeah.
But it's like, I've also kind of realized that I have a knack for, like, I'm looking for a mechanic's apprenticeship when I get back home.
Legitimately?
I
saw that post, but I kind of thought it was maybe a joke. I didn't.
Oh no, it's like I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, clearly I am being told I need to work on vehicles, because like even my mechanic friends, like people who are like certified automotive technicians, Red Seal, are like, all right, bro, you like that's impressive. And
that's cool. Yeah.
At that point, it's like, all right, like I seem to have a knack for it. My oldest is going into school. My youngest is 2 years out. I mean, it's gonna be not long before I have very open days.
So does that mean you're pardon me? Does that mean you're hanging up your guitar? Are you like?
Oh God, no.
No.
God, no.
Because how? So you're gonna start this apprenticeship.
I'm pretty much gonna tell them, it's like, look, I want Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm not hell bent on getting to Red Seal like that.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I want to learn.
Right.
Like the thing is.
So for you, it's not so much about like a steady job and this and that. It's more about like this. I just want to do this. I want to learn.
I thoroughly enjoy working on vehicles. Like this
when you're not
to know exactly what that noise is.
Yeah. Even if I'm stranded, it's to say that I didn't enjoy the process of tearing it apart and putting it back together and dealing with all the bullshit and like overcoming bullshit, like that was a big.
It pays to know what the hell's wrong and what it takes to fix it. When's the last 100%. Time you seen me fucking worry about a fried computer?
Yeah, and it's just like, So I just want to be like, look, I'll work Monday to Thursday every week. You know, I'm not one to miss work. The only time I've missed gigs is when I'm like breaking down on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Very strong work ethic that way, and it's like, look, 2 months of the year, I will not be in Canada most likely. Mm-hmm. But if you grant me those two things, like, I'll fucking stick around until.
Gotcha. Well, see, and that's what kind of confused me. Like, I feel like if for you, if it's about, I like doing this and I'm gonna work on towards, you know, getting my apprenticeship and because I like doing this and I want to learn, like, that's one thing. If you're like, oh, I want to study, I'm like, well, you're gonna have to have a difficult time having that job and that schedule, right? If you're gone all the time or if you want to be touring and stuff. But like, if it's something that you enjoy doing and you're just doing it, like, all the power to you.
Well,
right?
And that's what I mean, right? Like, I mostly tour just like short tours out on the weekend, and that basically covers my bills.
Yeah,
as it stands right now, right? So I'm not even too worried about making a lot of money at this point. I really just want the skill set, you know, like the ability to be like, is that noise?
Yeah, and
be able to diagnose it. I can do that decently at this point, but it'd be a lot nicer to know that stupid little sprocket is in there. You know, and learn that on somebody else's dime, not my dime when I'm losing gigs, kind of thing, right? Where it's
okay. So let's back up here a little bit. I kind of like to in doing these podcasts. One of the things that I really like to do, so I like it to be one, entertaining and conversational, like just general. Like, I want people to see that, you know, musicians are, you know, people too, and we like to have conversations and we like to talk. It's one of my favorite things about this.
Not their gods.
Yeah, well, no, my favorite. I like doing these because I like talking to people.
Yeah.
Right. I really like talking and listening and hearing stories and learn things. Things like this is just so much fun. I'm like, wow, all this crazy stuff that you went through. And then the next part is I like it to be somewhat educational, right? Yeah. Somewhat for, you know, people that are new musicians or people that are, you know, looking to get into it, or even people that have been at it for a long time but maybe haven't done different things in it. Like, I know lots of musicians that have been musicians for a long time, but they don't really leave the city. Yeah. Right? They don't have a concept of what it's like to tour, for example. So that's where maybe it would be valuable for them. So in this section of the podcast, what would be some advice that you would give to somebody who's thinking about, you know, booking a tour?
Bring tools.
And lots of spare cash.
Not even the spare cash, man. Like, bring tools. You don't you don't need a lot of money to fix a vehicle. Yeah. Like, you need some, but if there's a junkyard around, you can likely get a spare part. Yeah. Bring tools.
Yeah. Even your basic, like, that's the thing that I've known people, you know, like, I've dated people, girls and stuff, where, like, they don't own tools, they don't know how to change a tire. I'm like, you can have a little toolbox with the most basic things, you know, like a multi-driver. You gotta have at least, you know, 2 crescent wrenches, maybe a socket set if you can.
You should absolutely have a socket.
I agree 100%.
You should absolutely have a 100%. Socket set, a wrench set, like, arguably, go spend the $700 on the $273 piece kit, man. Like, go spend that money.
Yeah, and then also buy like an extra 10 individual 10mm sockets.
Yeah,
because those will... That's where you were going with
that. Those things you will not be able to hang. I don't even know where my 10 mils are.
Nope, that one vanished on this journey.
All right, so
the 10 mil is always gone.
Yeah,
I have like 3 socket sets at work, and every single one of them is missing the 10 mil.
Yeah, right. So bring tools. That's the number one. It's like, don't go on tour without a set of tools with you. Just don't do it. Like, it's genuinely, you are screwed if you don't have them. Because I would not have been able to make it to Pennsylvania without tools. Mm-hmm. I would not have been able to make it home from Canmore without tools. I've, like, Kelowna, I broke down. I almost died.
Oh, shit, yeah. That was a mess.
What was it, January?
Yeah.
I almost died. I got food poisoning in -10 weather and freaking had to walk from hotel to hotel room to find a hotel that would just take my goddamn money.
The night went so horribly wrong. We were supposed to go home after the gig and play Diablo.
Oh, yeah.
I've had terrible experiences in that area as well. That single gig that I talked about in Vernon, I made the mistake of not going to the hotel before the gig and booking in, and it wasn't even a late show. I was out of there by 10:30. 10:30.
They don't want to take anybody.
Yeah, there was no hotels even open. The lobbies were all closed.
And it's like your business is sleep at nighttime.
Yeah, I went to like a dozen different hotels, and I finally found one that the lobby was closing in 5 minutes.
It's unreal. So
I don't know what that whole thing is, but
bring tools. That's my number one point. Book your tour. Definitely denser. Like doing what I did, yeah, it worked. But it's like you should definitely have more gigs. Like get weekday gigs. Be prepared to busk a lot. Like busking is a great source of, if nothing else, gas money. Depending on what country you are, I can tell you that Canada, you want to busk in the cities. Whereas if you are traveling in the States, rest stops.
Know how to break into your own stuff.
But
like
we're definitely putting a new doorknob on that
camper. We
We
don't have a key for the door
for your camper.
For the camper. So what we were doing was just like locking it from the inside and like leaving a window accessible.
What I would do.
That windowsill's getting real hard on the legs.
Right. What I would do is I would get one of those magnetic key boxes and just have an extra key made.
You don't have a key.
No, I understand that. You should just talk to my dad before you go, because he's a locksmith. He can help you.
Go.
But what I would do is I would get an extra couple keys made and put one or two in a box and lock it or magnet it underneath the wheel well or something like that. But yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Dude, at this point there, I'm actually really shocked that nobody's come up to the trailer and asked, "What the hell are you doing breaking into somebody's?"
Because it looks like you're just
Oh, absolutely. You gotta hang up off the top and shoot your body in through the window. There's nothing to stand on at the side.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So,
I don't exactly look like your friendly neighborhood guy.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, if I saw you crawling through a window, I'd be like, what is this guy doing? Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
long hair, long jacket, what the hell?
Yeah.
You want to book your tours more dense.
Yes. And I feel like in Canada that in certain places, especially like west of Manitoba, that is a little more difficult because
very hard in West.
Well, cities are 2-3 hours apart minimum here, so that's just a reality.
Yeah.
Which is definitely doable, but yeah, I found and when I did my tour in April, we did pretty good. Like lots of small towns, and if that's what you're going for, small towns, small rooms. You can make a go of it. And I find those small towns generally don't mind paying a little more because they don't have a lot going on there anyway.
Yeah.
But I think the longest stretch we had, I think there was, off the top of my head, we had like something like 6 dates, and none of them were more than an hour or two apart in small towns. And then the last date, it was in North Battleford, Saskatchewan, and we drove all the way from, Medicine Hat to North Battleford. So that was like 8 hours.
Yeah.
But we drove there the day before, stayed in the hotel, played that night, the next night, and then drove home.
Yeah.
So it wasn't terrible. It was the last 2 days of the tour was the most driving we did.
Yeah.
And that was a show where that paid enough that we were able to make that whole thing work, right? But yeah, I agree totally. The way I do it personally is I'll try to book as many shows as I can in a row with a day or two off in between 2 or 3 shows.
Yeah.
And then I'll try to make sure that there's at least enough anchor shows that covers all the expenses. And then if there's gigs that maybe don't want to pay or they're uncertain if they're going to be door sales, you don't know what the turnout's going to be, you can feed those in, but you got to get enough anchor shows for sure, bare minimum, just to cover everything.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit so that you're safe. And then I always like to have a bit of a bank account, a couple extra bucks in the bank just in case.
That's the other thing. It's like definitely like I said, you don't need.
It's doable. It's doable.
You can do it. Like clearly, I made it to Pennsylvania, and the only reason why I couldn't make it into the States is it came down to time and to generate money to get into New York and all that. So like that was.
To Canada where you can work.
Yeah, it literally just came down to like, okay, I've hit the wall here. There's like I could have gone, but it was like, it's
Yeah. Would have been it gets to a point for you. I could see. You're like, am I just beating this dead horse?
Oh no,
right?
That's exactly what it was. It was just like it got to the point where it was
Like, how
It's
much more can
starting
I
to
force
smell,
this?
damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it was just like I got to the point where I was just like I'm tired, and I'm like I got mad at him once because like he was having an issue with his phone or something like that. I'm like, look, man, you can't be getting stressed out over your phone falling over. I got to be able to get us home, and if you're fucking losing your shit over that, I can't think. And if I can't think, we're it was just like, and like, to be fair, like, stress at that level. This is like when we had just arrived in Ottawa, and like stress at that level was like, I don't blame him. Like, at that point, your phone falling over, it's like fucking really, you know. But
what are you doing, Eric? Come on.
Right?
Trying to work the GPS, and it keeps falling off the console.
You know, I just want to. Have you ever thought, so like the type of tour that you booked and the way you booked it, like with all the free time because you wanted to do some busking and kind of get into that? Have you ever thought about I mean, I guess it's different because you went to the States too, but I think it's CN Rail has a program where you can get on. It's called the Artists on Board program, and you sign up for it. You have to book it in advance, obviously, but basically they let you ride the train for free for so many shows a day. I think you got to do 3 a day for an entire day, and you can use that to travel whatever distance along the railway. And I think it starts in, like, you can do it anywhere between Vancouver and Toronto or something like that.
See, it'd be an interesting idea. I'm not a huge fan of like being on other people's schedules.
Right.
That's like that. I mean,
well, you pre-book it in advance.
The only reason why my tour was so spaced out was literally just like, honestly, it just came down to poor planning on my part. Like I wanted more, and I just had a bunch of things going wrong.
Yeah.
Leading up to the tour, where it's just like I didn't get, how do I phrase this? I was having my attention drawn away from booking the tour to the point where I wasn't giving it the attention that it deserved.
Right.
So I walked into it kind of just not prepared.
Well, and the thing is with tour booking specifically, like, booking shows is kind of easy. Mm-hmm. And and don't get me wrong, like, I don't mean to say that, like, yeah, it's easy. Like, it's kind of easy in comparison. When you try to book a tour, so we did that yeah, don't worry about it. We did that 10-day thing in April, and I started booking that in November. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have all the dates 100% firmly booked. Like it wasn't solid until 2 weeks before the tour.
Well, yeah, and that's like, what happens. Is like
there's so many. Like I had venues that were like, maybe, email us again when it gets closer.
Yeah, and
I'm like, what?
And that's
you want me to give you less notice? What?
Yeah, and that's an issue that I had with a lot of the places when I was trying to book. It was like, look, you know, like I'm not like with, I can't remember the name of the venue in New York where I'm like, which actually now that I think about it, I totally forgot to tell them I'm not coming. I'm sure they got the message.
Just so you know, Kyle's not coming weeks ago.
Yeah.
I totally thought you'd made that phone call.
No, that was like just I'm out. Shit's gone wrong. Shit has gone awry.
They never called or emailed or anything?
No. They weren't even too. It was a Sunday show. They're like, we're not expecting people to show up, and so I'm pretty sure when I didn't show up, they're like, fuck them. So,
money in their pockets.
Yeah.
Someone's got to pay the wages of the staff that's got to sit there till close.
Yeah, and like that. The other thing is like really put time into promotion, man. Like that was something that I wasn't able to do just by the sheer number of things that were going wrong. And you know, promotion is everything. Making sure that your dates are congested. You don't want like days of travel between gigs.
Yeah, not if you can help it.
Yeah,
sure.
even if you can like busk. Which, like, I make like $25 an hour busking. Like, it's solid.
You certainly can if you get the right spot. I would say though, you have to, specifically here in Canada, I don't know about everywhere else, but you do have to be careful about spots because some places you have to get like
permit,
and then they assign you a location, and that's like a whole process. Like, so it's not friendly to touring musicians.
No,
because you can't just like go get a permit and then busk. No. It's like a couple week process. It's like getting a passport.
Yeah,
you know? It's
like, and that's what I was saying. Like, especially in the States, man. If you stop at truck stops, like there's these rest stops, and then the rest stops in the States are like actually like it's a heated or air conditioned building with like private bathrooms.
Okay, I see.
Yada yada, right? So I would just go stand in front of the front door and just start playing, right? And then like people would be like, "This is awesome, man." Right.
That's interesting. I'll rest stops. There you go.
You know, it's like people would genuinely be like, "This is awesome!" Like, like just some random dude in the middle of nowhere singing his heart out, and like they loved it. And I will say this, man, Americans are way more generous than Canadians. Mm-hmm. Like legitimately, like those guys are. If you're trying, if you're putting out the effort, they're happy to hand over money.
Yeah.
It's like they just want to see you doing something.
Well, I've never been, but I also just geographically, it seems like it makes more sense to tour in the U.S. as well, just because of the way the travel between major centers is so much less.
Well, and like my plan,
and there's things in between those major centers too. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well, and my plan was I was going to be doing like 4 major tours of the States a year, but that's being put on hold just due to the.
Yeah, you got to recoup your losses.
Oh yeah, man! Yeah, like I just got throttled, just throttled.
Well, and even like I'm literally just paying. Like when we met in Kamloops when we were coming through on the Rise Up tour.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much just recouping my money from that now. Yeah. Like I'm just paying off the bills that were put on hold and like putting money back into my savings account, which is demolished from that, right? Like,
yeah.
It's just touring can be a costly thing if it's not done a certain way, and certain tours too, like they require certain things. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you're gonna shell out the money for that, is it gonna are you gonna get paid for that? Like where's the money coming from? Like so it just depends.
And that's the other thing too. It's like this is my
I couldn't imagine touring as a band. That would be very costly.
Oh man!
If you had 4 people in a van, 5 people, it would full drum kit, all that gear.
Yeah, it would just
can't afford it.
No, it's too much.
It'd be outrageously expensive.
Right, so it's like, and the other thing too is like you really have to be prepared to eat losses, like especially at the beginning. Like, I'm still only 3 years in.
Yeah.
To this whole professional musician thing, like there are some trips, man, where you lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like a lot of money.
Yeah. 100%.
You got, it's like any business, man. You got to prepare to like take some hits, and like you got to be able to adapt. Like on the big tours, man, you got to be able to like. Nobody's coming to my rescue in friggin' Minnesota. Like right. I was lucky to have a friend there.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to have broken down exactly where I did.
Yeah. Every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I was lucky to have broken down where I was, not other places, right? And you really do have to be able to like. I didn't get good at mechanicking because, I was kind of like I was joking I was saying like I want to be able to overcome any obstacle that comes my way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be able to adapt, man. Like when shit goes sideways, and it will. Like it's not even a matter of if. It's like shit's gonna go sideways.
Yeah.
It's gonna just rally you.
Yeah, 100%.
Be ready to adapt. Whatever comes your way, you got to be able to roll with it. I mean, if you allow yourself to get overwhelmed easily, like it's like until things are like an absolute, this is done.
Yeah.
You just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You can never change. It doesn't, whether you're on tour, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can never change the circumstances. You can't necessarily change what happens.
No.
But you can change what you're doing and like how you're reacting to it and what you're gonna do. Right.
It's not for the faint of heart, man. It really isn't. Like,
no. I've said this a couple times now. All the time I get these bright-eyed little girls with ukuleles. They're like, "Oh yeah, I want to be a musician." I'm like, "No, you don't.
Yeah, it's like
You have no idea. You do not have the wherewithal.
yeah, it's like
Do this for another 2 years, and then buy yourself a vehicle and spend the next 2 years living in that vehicle, and then tell me if you want to be a musician."
It's
like-
like there was like a week we didn't get to, like 8 days we didn't get to shower.
Yep.
It's like, man, like the Swan Pass was real, like
Yeah.
and it's like there's long periods where you don't get to shower. There's like shit breaks.
Yep.
You gotta pull money out of your ass sometimes.
It's hard to keep things charged.
Yeah.
Like keeping your damn devices charged, man. It's a genuine
Yeah.
a genuine problem that needs to be addressed. Like
Yeah.
that was a bit much.
Dom hooking us up with that inverter was definitely a magical piece of...
we had that problem on the Rise Up tour too, because we were constantly, so the whole concept of it was filming things, right?
Yeah.
And the problem was basically storage space. And so I had brought my laptop along, and we had a hard drive, but the problem was everybody was filming things, and we had to move things over onto this hard drive. And there was no plug-in in the van to plug my laptop in to charge it. And my laptop's got I think it's pretty good battery life, even for being not the newest laptop. It's like 2.5 hours or something.
Yeah.
But that was the problem, was we're driving, and I'm like, I can't, so we ended up I forget, where was it? Somewhere we had to stop, and we found, it was hard to find an inverter. We couldn't even find one. We went to we went to Best Buy, we went to the Source, and somewhere else, and then we finally found one. It was the only one in the store, and it took us, we were like, it's got to be here. There's got to be one here. London Drugs, of all places, right? Like, what?
That's peculiar.
I found London Drugs to step up to the plate, where a lot of more appropriate businesses just really shouldn't have dropped that ball.
I didn't even find one in Canadian Tire. That was the other
They're the only
we went,
place in
Canadian
Kamloops you can buy thermal paste, like proper quality thermal paste.
No,
Guys at the
London
Best Buy
Drugs.
don't even know what the hell thermal paste is. Yeah, they straight up answered the phone and said, "Is that the stuff you smear on your hard drive?" Yeah, that's when we very promptly hung up.
So, I mean, when it comes to this stuff, I don't know. It's like a weird... There's things that you don't think of, for sure, that end up being problems that are...
Like, if you just consider from the, they're traveling around and they're playing music, it sounds so glamorous. It's not, man.
No.
Like, you really got to consider the fact of, first of all, where the fuck are you going to sleep?
Yeah.
Like, that's something, that is a genuine issue that you have to...
Can't sleep in a hammock everywhere.
Especially in this country where for,
7 months of the year.
months of the year,
It's freezing.
It's freezing cold outside, right?
Right? Unless you have a generator to freaking power your heater.
That's if you're even lucky enough to have a camper,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, no.
So
The reason I have a camper is because I planned. I've been planning
no. I don't mean to,
You
see what I'm saying? Like, most musicians aren't even at that point where they have, right? So they're like me, we're touring, so I'll back up a little. When I said I kind of identified with your story and I had some similar problems, right? So about a year ago, I traded a guy a roof for this a Ford Sport Track, which is kind of it's like a Ford Explorer, but it has a locking box on the back, right? And it's like a 6 or a 7-seater, 5-seat vehicle. For my band, perfect, because there's 3 of us. No full drum kit. It's like light acoustic percussion, couple of guitars. Everything fits in the box of the truck, and then we have the whole cab. That was the idea.
Yeah.
Great. A couple things needed to be fixed on this, so I spent a couple of months with my dad fixing it up, getting it ready. So about 2-ish weeks before we're supposed to leave on this tour that I had been planning, switched the insurance and registration over and everything like that, and driving around. Everything's great. I even took it out. Had to go deliver parts to my parents when they were traveling. They were in Whitecourt. I had to drive some parts out to them there. Drove it back, no problem. Seems to be running great. It's a great truck. Well, literally 2-3 days before we're supposed to leave, I'm driving home after work, and I start hearing a click, 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 running the truck. I'm like, what the hell? This isn't good. Get home, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, well, I don't want to be driving this. And it sounds like it's going to leave me on the side of the road. Bit of diagnosing, bit of research, figure out that it's it's the timing chain in the front compartment, right? And I'm like, oh my god, this is.
Yeah, you don't want to catch that before she blows.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll rip your engine apart.
What it actually is the tension guide.
Yeah.
In the top, which the timing chain goes around and it keeps it from
Yeah.
So the guide is busted, so the chain is just rattling against the inside of the
Compartment.
the compartments. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is, I can't afford to fix this. Blah blah blah. I had gone so far, like I was gonna borrow some money from my parents, and I was gonna have a mechanic come to, our house here, and have him fix it. And I went through Kijiji, and I had tried to get a couple of different guys to come out, and 2 or 3 guys, oh yeah, I'll come out, and they never showed up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do, right? And so what we ended up doing was we downsized, because this vehicle was not running, obviously. We ended up downsizing our act a little bit, left 2 extra instruments behind, and we piled everything into my percussionist car, and we did the tour in his car. And I paid him a little extra, paid for gas and everything, obviously, and that's what we ended up doing. We had to tour out of his, what is it? It's like a Nissan...
Ultima.
What's the frog-looking one? The one that has like the frog lights on the front? I can't remember what it's called. It's like a hatchback. Tiny little car. But it was tight, but we made it work, man.
Not a Micra.
No, I think I can't remember.
No, they only just started bringing those back again.
He'll bust my balls for not remembering what it is, but anyway, so we it was tight. Our guitarist was squished right in the back seat, like gear. He was literally like walled in by guitars and gear and shit and merch, but it worked, man. And it was probably cheaper on fuel, but
probably I spent a lot on fuel on this trip.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I think our budget for fuel for the entire 10 days was something like $200-$300. Like, it wasn't bad at all.
I think I spent about $1,000.
Oh, probably all that.
Yeah,
1,200.
I'm sure you did. Yeah,
lugging that trailer around.
It's that. Yeah, for sure it would be.
You know what though? It really does change the game. Bringing your own accommodation is expensive.
Yeah,
it's less expensive than hotel rooms.
Yes.
And
unless you can work out accommodations in your booking.
But you gotta have a big pull.
I don't know, man. I've made it work.
I can't get a good contract to save my life. For me, it's like I can get guaranteed pay.
Yeah.
But anything else aside from that, figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe the occasional meal of beer with.
Yeah. So
night.
I mean, the key is obviously when you're doing this, that kind of, it's not lying, but it's peacocking a little bit. Like making yourself not look like you're gonna bring a huge job, but making yourself look really professional.
Yeah.
And then you can tend to work out some of those deals. Like, you know what? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying misrepresent yourself. I'm not saying lie. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm gonna sell 50 tickets to this show and then bringing nobody. I'm just saying having a really clean, professional, branded look. Yeah. And that definitely assists in those kinds of situations where you need to have those things provided, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously getting creative. Like I've personally never done this, for example, but I know artists who have and have had some good success with it, where they will have fans help them book the tour, and then they'll actually stay with them on the tour. So like you would do something sort of like you would reach out and say, oh yeah, we want to do this tour. Where should we go? Blah, blah, blah. And then the people that are particularly excited, you get them to help you book shows locally for where they are.
Yeah.
And then you arrange to stay with them, and you make it worth their while to help you out, and really reward them for their patronage.
Sign T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, that's another route you can. You just got to get creative with it, and I mean, there's no wrong answers if it works for you, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always gonna say bring a camper.
Yeah, and that's a great one. Right?
Legit, like it just changes the game. Like
yeah.
I mean, the first 4 days of the tour, we didn't have propane, or it was 5 days of the tour.
Yeah, something like that. We
like
didn't
the first
pick up
week.
until Missoula.
Yeah, we couldn't even cook. You know, like it was that sucked. I'm not gonna lie. That's eating like I don't know if you've ever had like chicken soup, like but cold out of a can.
It's like slimy.
Or it's like it's got the fat.
Yeah.
Like that was what we were eating the first like week. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like some of this. It was gnarly, man. It was not.
Tomato soup is not a viable option on the road. There is virtually nothing in there that's healthy for you.
Not a damn. I will say though, potatoes.
Salt.
Load up on potatoes, brother, because those things, man, they will keep and like.
Yeah.
Probably gonna make it home with some of your garden potatoes.
Yes.
You know what you could do? You can probably you can buy actually cheap army rations from supply store, like camping supply stores.
Yeah.
And they're, like freeze dried stuff that you can, obviously they're designed to be mixed out in the middle of a war, put togeted and eaten, right? So you don't need much to.
So that's not a bad idea. I might consider that.
Very low space requirement, right? It's little packets and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not good food. Don't get me wrong, but I mean it's built to sustain you, so you do that.
Right.
What anything else that you would say, like you'd offer up? This is advice from somebody who's fought the road and won.
I don't know if I won this round, but
I mean, you made it home almost.
that's true.
I'd call that a win. I wouldn't say okay.
It's losing better.
Yeah.
Use
what
a smaller gauge of wire like we
I wouldn't
did.
say the overall tour was a success because it, like, I'm sure you would say it probably didn't pan out to what you wanted it to.
Oh
be.
no, it's the whole tour basically didn't go as planned.
Right, but I wouldn't say that you failed either. Do you know what I mean? Like, cause everything that happened you dealt with.
Yeah, it was like one small victory after another with a couple of and like I said, it didn't go as planned. But it's my main thing is like be ready to adapt, man. Whatever it is, like whatever comes your way, like be your mechanic. Mm-hmm. Learn, like we got cell phones now, man. There's no excuse to not. You can get a video of some guy doing the exact job that you're gonna do.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
You can watch them and do it step by step by step, and literally just follow what they're doing.
Yeah.
Pause and play.
The voodoo. We both saw that guy was working with something on the right side there.
Oh,
we couldn't tell what the hell it was that he moved. Lo and behold, just out of frame is the magical tool you had to forge.
Yeah.
Doesn't say a damn word about it.
Yeah, which was retarded.
Gotta watch out for those moments.
Yeah, there's a few of those, but generally, even still, you can. Yeah, that's my experience too. Is that if you have the mental wherewithal and you're willing to learn and do the hard work, doesn't matter what you want to learn or how you have to learn it.
Yeah, and like if you want to be a road
and
warrior,
time,
man,
you need time. You need time as well, obviously.
Yeah, time
Everything's
is important.
trial by fire.
But
That's
it's like
just life.
It's like, man, if you want to be a road warrior, if you want to be a touring musician, like you got to be your mechanic. You got to be ready to face whatever's gonna come your way as it's coming, because man, you will get throttled. There's no escaping you getting throttled. Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing, is like it's not a matter of if it kicks your ass. No, it's gonna beat the living snot out of you. Mm-hmm. Like I have not had a long tour go great yet.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't had one that went exactly as I planned.
I don't think that's real.
Neither do I, man. Right?
It's nothing but a pipe dream.
Yeah.
It really is. Like, and I'm just, but it's just like whatever's, like things are gonna go wrong. The baseline it's gonna be bullshit. But if you can adapt and you are willing to take the help where it's offered and, like really do the hard work, whatever that hard work is, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine,
And if you don't have the mental wherewithal to do those things,
don't do it.
Don't get on the road. Just you're doing yourself and everyone else a disservice. I hate to be the downer, but my when people come to me and they talk about wanting to be musicians, my first thought is always, if there's any way that you cannot be that, don't do it. Because my point is you have to be bitten. You have to not be able to not do it.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
And if that's where you are, then great. I'm behind you. But if you're not at that place, you do not belong.
Well, it's like I was saying, like the main reason for me wanting to get a mechanic apprenticeship is literally so that I have a good paying day job that directly benefits touring. Mm-hmm. Right? I need to be able to fucking, like have a full mechanic shop with me as I'm rolling down the highway, because things are gonna break.
Yeah.
Like, I basically acquire skills that are directly going to benefit, or how do I phrase it? They're directly going to be able to help me address issues that come up as they come up.
Yeah.
The biggest one that I've found so far is vehicle troubles.
Yeah, that's a major one. Unless you have endless amounts of money.
Unless you have endless amounts of money, yeah, vehicle troubles are going to be your major problem.
Yeah.
There's no escaping that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some more things I got to fix when I get home.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, if you're not willing to, if you don't have the mental fortitude to be able to, like, take hits. I got a buddy, and a good example of this, like, I got a buddy. I'll never take him out on tour again.
Uh-oh.
But it's not. He did all right. Like, I had a Jimmy. I went up to Calgary, and the Jimmy had an exhaust leak. The freaking exhaust manifold was separated from the exhaust pipe. Right. I had to take it out, file a bolt hole. It took me 13 hours of just, like, working on this part and, like, fixing it and yet and he gets up after 13 hours. He's like, "That's it! I've had it! You've been at this all day. All day you've been working on this fucking... You've taken the exhaust manifold in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, and you're trying to figure it out. And now you're just filing a fucking bolt hole. You don't even know if it's going to work. You're operating on hopes and dreams and no guarantees. That's it. I'm going to sleep in the truck."
Okay.
Went into the truck. 2 minutes later, I'm file the bolt hole out enough that I can put a bolt through it and connect it, and we're good to go. Right? But it's like, man, it was 13 hours.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine him like 3 weeks in?
Yeah. Patience is the key.
Right? Yeah. Where it's like 3 weeks in and the rear diff's blown apart.
Yep.
And I've managed to fuck up enough that now this $40 fix is now a $1,700 fix. You know, like, slight change in price tag here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't think that he would be able to handle that, right? And it's, if you can't handle that kind of, like, and it's stress, man. Like, it's lots and lots and lots of stress. If you can't handle that, if you can't handle the fire, man, get the hell out of the kitchen, because Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, it's either, because it really is a do or die. And I mean, I'm not gonna say that I did it all myself, because I had a bunch of people, you know, donating money, helping me out.
Totally.
Family friend lent me cash. But at the end of the day, even with that help, it's still on my shoulders to fix the damn problem.
And then also to reciprocate and pay that back at a point.
Yeah.
That's another burden that you're gonna have to bear later.
Yeah.
That's
get it. And once I get home, man, like, I've had to cancel a whole bunch of stuff that I was working on.
Yeah.
And because, well, I'm just not gonna be able to afford to go down to Texas in November, which was what my plan was.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to afford to do that. I'm not gonna be able to afford to do a laundry list of things now. And it's
Totally.
like, you know, and it's the...
And that's the sacrifices that you have to make, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, when I'm on tour and something like that goes wrong, and you're dealing with the finances, even when you're thinking about it in the aftermath. Okay, when I get home, this is what's going to be. I have to catch up on these bills. I got to pay this. I got to pay this person back. You make those choices fully knowing that that's what you're going to have to do after. And like, okay, that's the sacrifice I'm going to have to make.
The tour doesn't end when you get home.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Getting home is the easy part.
Yep. Then you take some duct tape and bandages to stop the bleeding.
It's like I said. It's officially now September 7th, and I think I guess, quote, yesterday, the 6th was Friday. It was my payday. I officially have paid off the bills from the tour that we finished in June.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's totally.
You know, and I took out like $5,000 in loans over my truck.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because the truck went, and it's like, do or die, right?
Yeah.
Now I have a decent truck. I'll get my Chevy working properly and
pull the dents out.
Pull the dents out of the Dodge, because I've managed to back in both corners of the cab into the fifth wheel. One was tonight, actually, as I was trying to turn around.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, sometimes, and it's shit like that. Sometimes you just got to deal with it. Like, I'm looking, there's some, like, new dents in the truck, and, like,
Yeah.
I managed to tag a freaking post at a gas station on my fifth wheel, like,
Day one.
as I lost my phone. This one under the seats because I was.
It was good though. The guy that was pulling up beside us, he kicked us a roll of duct tape, and
that
that thing
shit
has saved so many things.
It is still keeping us going.
There's a lot of duct tape holding that camper together right now.
You guys need duct tape sponsors. That's what you should have.
You know what? Yeah.
Whoever made that roll of yellow tape, right on.
Yeah, I will. You give me a lifetime supply of that and enough money to pay off my truck. I will put a freaking decal right
tattoo on your forehead.
No,
duct tape racing stripes on the truck.
Not even that, man. The
That'd be
freaking decal for the company right on the side of the fifth wheel. Start putting sponsors on the. I drive all across the countryside. Let's see if I can start getting some freaking sponsor tags.
Kyle Cavanagh, you're an interesting guy.
Well, thank you very much.
Plug your stuff.
You can find my website, kylecavanaughmusic.net. Yeah, .net. I'm on Twitter, although I barely use it. You can find me on Facebook. I'm going to make it more public and remove some of my more personal information. And it's under my name. And Kyle Cavanagh at YouTube. I do live streams where I take song requests and play them on the fly. It's not always what you hear, but, or what you'd expect. But they turn out all right, about 70% of the time. Mm-hmm. I do an excellent cover of Barbie Girl.
There you go. Interesting.
I recommend checking that out.
I will. I really appreciate, I know you guys have had like the craziest, longest, worst, best, and everything that goes along with that tour in the last couple of weeks. It's now just after 2 a.m., and I really appreciate you guys coming out here, even after all that, after all your driving, after all your bullshit, after everything that's gone on, and coming and talking to me and telling me this story.
Thanks for having us, man.
No, I really appreciate it.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it's great. I love conversations like this. Love hearing these stories. It's so much fun.
It's the stories that are the fun part, right?
Exactly.
What's the point in doing all this stuff if you
go
can't
off
tell
into the
somebody about
wilderness
it?
to come back with
That's what
something.
I'm saying. At least you guys have a story. So
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And can't wait to see you play tomorrow night.
Sounds good. Cheers.